So vocab, I'm going to go through this and fast forward because we've sort of like been there, done that. We haven't seen the first 30 for a while, so I was figuring I'd give you all of those and then kind of go to fast forward zone. But one, we're looking for composition and we're looking for changes. Something like science concerned with the composition of substances and the changes they undergo. Two, we're looking to stay in order. There's experimentation is one, hypothesis is two, more experimenting is three according to our book, although other books are going to go do this a little differently, and that's okay. Scientific law is four, and then we had a little bit of follow-up explanation. Experimentation follow-up is to collect facts and data by observing. Hypothesis was a theory. Age group was abstract, biological, physical, and social. 12 to 16 was the big question, and we had this on a quiz if this seems familiar. It was at the end of chapter 1. We took a pretty big quiz, I think. But organic, that has carbon, for example, aspirin among lots of other things. Inorganic is no carbon, like car battery, among lots of other things. Analytical is what's in a sample and how much, or you could use the words qualitative and quantitative. That's like measuring pesticide in water. Physical was structures, kinetics, and thermodynamics. That would be something like ice melting. If you didn't like kinetics, that was something to do with how fast things were changing, I think. Thermodynamics was like the role of heat, if you would rather have a few little words than one big word. Biochemistry is living systems, like saliva, for example. Alchemy, I don't think ever made a quiz, but I had previewed that it was coming around again someday. My definition for alchemy is turn other stuff into gold. I did tell you that Lavoisier would make the test, Lavoisier.
Can you spell that again?
Lavoisier. Nobel, Nobel prize is the science prize. Europe is 30, USA is 31. And then everything else, we just filmed a video with all of these answers the last time we had class, I think. So I wasn't planning to repeat every answer up to 80, but if you need some, I'd give them. Is anybody up as far as 80? Need any kind of repeat vocab moments?
75.
75 is convert units. Convert from one system of measurement to another, something like that.
So just convert units.
I'm good at that.
Do you do what's the 72 group?
72 group is, you have to have a number 1 to 10, not be 10, times 10 to a power, and we go positive powers for big numbers, negative powers for little numbers.
What was 81?
81, I will do 81.
Okay.
Yeah, up to 80 I wasn't going to do, but I was going to do that. That did make the quiz. Never, yeah, 81 is to multiply. Making math and multiply, and the next one's divide. Anything up to 85. Okay, so tomorrow test would have those 85 plus the 30 metrics. The 30 metrics didn't make the review, but the 30 metrics would make the test, so that's 115. Would you rather have metric extra credit or scattered variety other thing extra credit? We'll do both, that's too greedy.
How many points of extra credit are scattered?
Looks like 7. Metric is 6. So metric is 6, scattered stuff is 7. Opinions?
Scattered, yeah.
Scattered for 7. Okay, so here's the scattered for 7 points. The units that are equivalent for volume give me all three of cm with a little 3, ml for milliliters, and cc's. Where is that one? What number is that? 50? So right around number 50, do cm with a little 3 with ml for milliliters with cc's. So there's one. In the 83 to 5, we'll just run back the way we did that most recently. So troposphere was clouds and weather. Troposphere was temperature falls as you're rising. Ionosphere was hot. Ionosphere is that satellites are beyond it. And then these are new ones. The 81-ish group tell me that grams go with milliliters and tell me that kilograms go with liters in terms of being friendly units.
Grams with what?
Grams with milliliters as partners and kilograms with liters as partners. Anybody need to run back on those 7 Easter egg scattered points?
What number was that CC?
It's around 50.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I see it.
Okay, so tomorrow, 85 regular points that you can see, 30 points of metric you can't see is 115. Sprinkled in 7 Easter egg hidden bonus points, you could score as high as 122 with a truly perfect paper on that. Anything there? Then the mathy stuff, it's not all necessarily mathy. I guess I could call it application of ideas. We'd have this identify which type of chemistry would start that group. So if we work here from this to the end and it's sort of stinky, I do have a similar review sheet that's just going to key in on these ideas that we could do on Wednesday before taking the test Thursday. But if you're already dominating this, there's no point to do that, and then we would just jump straight to the test on Wednesday. So you just try to be self-aware, and then we'll have a discussion as to whether another review portion of these kinds of things would help. Well, 86, the word structure gives away that it's physical. Carbon gives away that it's organic. The middle one is analytical. I would like you to use each word once. So if you argued there that you wanted to use inorganic because it said about stuff other than carbon, I can't say that that's wrong, but then you're going to have trouble using analytical on one of the other ones. Biochemistry is the 4th one. The last one is your best spot to play the inorganic card because the other ones don't really work there. 91 is 3.75 grams per milliliter. This 3.75 grams per milliliter is 91.
Sorry you got that wrong.
Anybody need help there?
Yeah.
Density equals mass divided by volume. So just take the mass and divide it by the volume. 30 divided by 8, let it rip.
Okay. That's fine, yeah, I got that.
Any more to 91?
Would you take that in like a fraction?
I'd rather go always decimals on all chemistry and physics and science and life. 92's line is going to go 5, 4, 2, 2, 3. 5, 4, 2, 2, 3. Anybody need help with counting any of those? 97 group, 23.4 will surprise some people, but I'm not kidding. 23.6, 23.5, and 60,000 where you're going to put a bar on the second zero. The zero that's right after on the right of the comma, that zero needs a bar on it because that's the 3rd position. Does anybody need help on any of that magic? Anybody need me to tell you why it's 23.4 and it was not rounded in the traditional math sense, but science had a new rule? Chemistry only. Physics did not acknowledge that rule. FYI. 101, we're going to have to round first for that adding problem. It's going to be 31.6. The multiply problem we're going to round last, and it's going to be 1100, 1100. If you didn't round where I rounded, you're wrong, because there's rules about where you round. So that's not just like me joking around, that's like science being pretty serious about where you round and when. Anybody need up to 102? Where to round and when and how?
Yeah, 101.
So 101, we have to round them both to the 10th place. So that'll be a 23.5, so that that stops in the same place that the other one already stopped. Then add them up.
Okay.
More to 102, anything? 103, 4.35 times 10 to a positive 5. And then the second one in that little club is 3.45 times 10 to a negative 4. Anybody need guidance on working that duo? Someday people will watch this video and be disappointed. There wasn't a lot of info there. Be okay to turn a page? 105, definite looking to push some buttons and use the EE button on your calculator for scientific notation. 105 is 2.68 times 10 to a positive 5. Headed to the right, I'm going 8.74 times 10 to a positive 9. Coming down to the square root question is 4.80 times 10 to a 2. And then the fifth power thing is 6.44 times 10 to a 26. Mild advice on that, if they're going wrong, is maybe you need some parentheses around things to make the magic happen, because it's, especially the square root one and the fifth power one, I think you're going to need parentheses to make those work. Anybody with button pushing guidance needed to 108? 109 you could either do with dimensional analysis or common sense, moving the decimal in the right direction, the right amount of stuff. If you're using common sense, I'm utilizing the idea that if the unit gets to be a bigger meaning thing, the number correspondingly has to get smaller. They're going to work oppositely as pairs to like counterbalance. The meters question is 0.34 meters. The one below that, the hectometer question, is 0.00029 hm. The one from Celsius to Fahrenheit is 73.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That one you just have to use the formula that we had to memorize on the vocabulary, 73.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The Kelvin to Celsius is negative 55 degrees Celsius. Then back up to the top, the kilometer to meter is 23,000 meters. The megameter to decimeter is 340 million decimeters. The Fahrenheit to Celsius is 1.1 with a bar on the 1 degrees Celsius. And then the last one of those, Celsius to Kelvin, is 587 K.
What was the 34?
1.1 with the line on
No,
the
one
1.
above that.
340 million. So there's 7 zeros in that thing.
Is that
Oh,
mega?
that's
Mega to dexa.
Okay.
Anything I can do there? .117's one of the bigger pains in the neck because you have to convert 3 things before you can add. So we need everything to get to meters. So the 3 is going to be 3,000. The 230 will be a 2.3. The 9 is okay. The 0.7 needs to be a 0.0007. And then addition gets you 3011.3007 meter. 3011.3007 meter. For that section, once we turned the page, this section, I turned off the like significant digit rules and the rounding rules and all that stuff. We're just trying to do the numbers. 118, is there directions to turn significant digits back on? Or does it not say?
It doesn't say.
Okay. On the test, starting on round the 118 type problems, it'll want to turn the significant digits. It'll say do 3 significant digits on that. So on the top of this up to 117, it was just kind of like randomly do whatever we did. But starting on 118, I'm going to do 3 significant digits on every answer for this group. If you did a different amount, so be it. No harm on a practice sheet, but on a test, we'll want to get ourselves coordinated. Anything up to 118 or 117? 118, I would probably recommend dimensional analysis starting on 118, but if you can math your way without it, that's fine. 118, I'm hoping for 354 milliliters. 119, I would work through formulas. Anything that's like starts talking about masses and volumes and densities, I would work through the equation that density equals mass divided by volume. But 119 is 1,320, and then I'll always want a unit. So up top, if you weren't writing stuff like meter, hectometer, degrees Fahrenheit, decimeters, kelvins, you want to backtrack and do that real quick. But 119 is 1,320 kilograms on top of meters cubed.
Can you do that one?
I can do that one. Let me punch out an answer to 120 and then double back. 120, I did dimensional analysis to make it work. I have a 0.856 liters, and then double back to 119. So 119, to do density, I like to do mass dividing volume, and I just make my units match. So the density is requested to be in kilogram units, so I need to turn that 84.5 into kilogram units, which is a 0.0845. And then the density is requested in meters units, so I need to change 4 centimeters into 0.04 meters and use that to get a volume of 0.04 times 0.04 times 0.04, aka 0.000064. You with those hops?
Sure. Wait.
You
so it
fibbing?
was Point.
0.000064 is the volume,
Okay.
and 0.0845 is the mass.
Okay.
And then I'm going to divide the mass by the volume. And that one is probably the biggest pain on this test.
Oh, okay, never mind.
That one is probably a little bit more of a pain in the neck than 117, but competitive.
You said you wanted us to go to 3 seconds.
Go 3 sig figs, so 1, 3 are kept from your screen, and then the 2, you had to make a rounding choice in that third slot.
What's the answer for that?
1320 kilograms per meters cubed.
I mean, it ends up being 13.3.
Anything else to 120 I can help?
something.
120?
Yeah.
So 120, I'm going to go dimensional analysis. I'm given grams to start with. And then at the end of the sentence, so this is 753. At the end of the question, I'm given a way to get grams out and milliliters in by using the 0.88 next to grams. And if you demand a number, I'll give you a 1, but I'll do it invisibly because my heart isn't really in it. And then I'm 1 bump away because I want liters. So I'm going to get a milliliter out by putting that on the bottom, the force of cancel, liter up, and it's 1,000 milliliters make a 1.
So then it's,
And then it's this, and then if there's numbers on the top, we go multiply, multiply, multiply buttons. Anything on the bottom, we'll go divide by buttons. So this, divide button, this, divide button, again, that. You could punch it in with parentheses, I don't wanna. I like to just go divide button for all bottoms times button for all tops. Okay. Anybody to 120, any issues to resolve? 121 is dimensional analysis of a similar length. I did it, an answer of 112 milliliters. 122 is dimensional analysis of a similar length, but involving parentheses and cubing, which we had happen in one of the examples that I said happens like 1% of the problems or less this year, and that's one that does. But we're hoping for 1,730 milliliters. 123, I did dimensional analysis, and it's 1 notch shorter than the one behind me to get the 633 grams. Then I took a timeout from dimensional analysis and worked that cheat code that if you're making mass, you look to multiply, and if you're not making mass, you look to divide. But you have to remember which unit is friends with which unit. So 124 liters are or aren't friends with grams. Not. So the 345 needs to turn into 0.345, and then go 0.345 divided by 1.34. Answer I'm saying is 0.257 liters. 125 kilograms friends with liters?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just divide. 4.32 divided by the number I gave you, 3.35 liters. 126,
What was
3.35 liter. For 126, gram friends with milliliter?
Yeah.
Yep, so just multiply. 27.0 grams. 127 liters friends with grams? No, so change 2.18 to 2,180 and then multiply. It'll be 1,600 grams, and I put a bar on the first zero so that I had a third significant digit position singled out. 128 dimensional analysis equivalent to what's over my shoulder in length is 15,700 inches. And then there'll be a note on the test to go ahead and quit doing the three significant digits. 129, I did dimensional analysis equivalent to what's behind me, but I did three groups of them, one group for each number, and it's going to turn out 450 by 75 by 45 feet. 130, you could either do with equations or you could do by just memorizing a little bit of temperature trivia. It is at negative 40 degrees. So if you want to have an equation and solve it and do some algebra, I can show you that path. But if you want the simplest path, just memorize it's negative 40 and save yourself a little bit of algebra bother. 122. So I'll go 2.58 kilograms, and then I need to make kilograms go away. So in the story, I have a conversion factor, so I'm just going to use that. I have 1490 kilograms that go with meters cubed. And if you demand a number, I'll invisibly give you a 1. Then meters need to go out, and centimeters need to come in. There's 100 centimeters in a meter, and then we're close to right, but that's not right, but it's close to right. You with me so far?
Yeah.
Why are we not right?
The cube just.
This was cubed. So I need this package to cube, which doesn't change the number, fortunately, but then this package needs to cube. So when we math it, it's this, not just times 100, but times 100 cubed, and divide the 1490. More stuff. Anybody more stuff?
It's like 1,007.
15, copy the 15 and then round it to a 7 and just zero out the rest because the 7's in the third position. So 15 comma,
Okay,
a
then
rounded
I got
created
it.
7.
I don't know how I got the wrong.
Wait, I'm looking at the wrong answer, wait.
I got like 1,730.
Yeah, you're right, I looked at the wrong spot.
Okay.
1730 is right, yeah. So keep the 17 from your screen and then round the third position to a 3. 1730 millimeters. What else can I do to help on the problem lifestyle? So any year watching this video, tomorrow is a vocab practice or vocab test. So again, that's the first 85, probably tinkering with the order, especially things like 67 where we add, subtract, then 69 where we're multiply, divide. Good chance I would switch the order of that. Or 81, 82, like similar questions there. 79, 80, like the similarly paired questions. There's always a good chance I mix up the order on stuff. But take those 85, sprinkle in the 30 metrics, And then depending on the year, this year chose to take the Easter egg scattered extra credit, but other years might choose to take the metrics, who knows. We'll shut the camera down. The problem test is either 2 or 3 days away. We might have another problem review in there, but that's gonna depend on what these people vote, and there's no reason to record that discussion.